They would take Palestinian men in the corner and put hot rods up their anuses, other things.
Dildos.
Who was doing this?
The Israeli army captives, IDF.
I verify that this story is 100% true. UN finds clear and convincing information that hostages have been raped in Gaza.
Please show me the report where that says though. No, that's a news report. I'm talking about the UN report. More than 80% of the children in Gaza suffer from trauma due to repeated bombings, family separations, and deprivation caused by the blockade. 200 Palestinians were killed peacefully protesting, including disabled people who were shot in their wheelchairs. This is fact.
So first of all, are you saying that the hospital, the hospital that got the Al Hilal hospital that was hit, and 500 Palestinians were killed?
I don't know how many Palestinians were killed. I was saying.
But are you saying that the Israelis bombed that hospital?
Yes. There's video footage of it.
Initially.
There's video.
According to Israeli media, the Israeli media
There's video
said
footage of it. We don't need to clarify on media.
No, the Israeli media said that a wayward rocket was fired. Islamic Jihad rocket was fired at Israel, and it misfired, and it landed in the parking lot next to.
Yeah, there's video footage of this attack though.
How do you know though it's an Israeli rocket?
The side it comes from.
How can you determine that?
Hamas can only shoot from Gaza Strip.
So, but the video, like, what's the video footage? The CCTV camera?
People filming a rocket coming from an alternate side and landing inside.
And in that video, you can determine.
You have to understand, a lot of these strikes have been filmed on people's mobile phones.
But you can determine southwest, the cardinal points.
That is true. You can't really, but you can determine the distance of where it comes from.
The distance of it comes from, but given
Gaza is only a very small strip.
Yeah.
Very small strip.
And that's right next to Israel, right?
Yes, on the border.
Yeah, and also there's video footage of the hostages being dragged into the Al-Shifa hospital. Why were they being dragged into the Al-Shifa hospital? Because Al-Shifa hospital and like many other hospitals...
Al-Shifa hospital, that was a lie though. We determined it. The Israeli spokesman that went inside the basement of the Al-Shifa hospital, that stood in front of a piece of paper saying these are Hamas fighters' names, that was doctors' names with their timetable. Everyone that can read Arabic could determine what it was.
Yeah.
In the Israeli media, on their news, they reported that was Hamas militants' names, which was just not true. They still haven't corrected that statement.
Well, look, there was also a report that Israeli soldiers raped some Palestinian women in a hospital.
Yeah, that can't be justified. We don't know that yet because they won't allow independent journalists to do that. What we do know,
but
Israeli people rape
Palestinians
in prison camps,
in their prison camp.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's 100% certain.
Yeah.
And the people were actually arrested for doing that.
And then released on house arrest after 3,000 people rioted for their right to rape.
What do you mean? Wait.
People, so when these military 9 people were arrested, because it was released on footage, they would take Palestinian men in the corner and put hot rods up their anuses, other things.
Dildos.
Who was doing this?
The Israeli army captives, IDF. It's on video footage.
IDF was doing this to
the Palestinian captives.
And I must say...
you can verify that this information is legitimate?
Okay, I verify that this story is 100% true.
And then what happened after that is they got arrested, all 9 of these people.
True.
There were dildos or there were...
Hot rods and dildos and other things.
Up their assholes?
Yes, in its own video.
Why were they doing that?
To dehumanize them, torture them. When you dehumanize people so much, you don't think them as humans. They're animals to you. Man. So you treat them as animals, unfortunately. And when we had a look at that, the 9 people were arrested.
You have to understand, the 19 people who were arrested, they were very right-wing Israelis.
No,
someone like
that.
Someone like me would never do that.
Okay, that's. I'm glad we come to agree on that point, because that should never happen, no matter who it is.
Not even to animals.
Exactly. Yeah. But then what really surprised
October 7 also shouldn't happen as well.
It shouldn't have. But when you occupy people
and the rape of Israeli women, which there is evidence of, shouldn't have happened. Well, again, one thing that the Palestinian side is saying, they're harping on about, these prisoners were raped in the jails. Well, look, Israeli women actually were raped on October 7.
Can you verify this?
Now, according to the Palestinian side of the things...
No, not according to Palestinians. I'm talking about UN reporters.
are saying that there is no evidence.
Yes, okay.
They're saying.
Despite
I know. I know. Again, according to the Palestinian narrative.
No. According to the UN reports, they looked at 5,000 images and video files by forensic experts, including those that were uploaded to the dark media and probably deleted. There was no tangible evidence of rape or sexual assault was identified. The Patton report, highlighted by the UN and other sources, the Times of Israel even noted the absence of physical evidence to back the allegations. This was corroborated by the inability of the Palestinian authorities to produce the evidence they initially claimed. One thing I also want to know is if you have a state that gets attacked and your women are raped, would you not do rape tests on them to identify exactly who the culprit is so you can charge them to the maximum? What more proof evidence do you need than rape evidence? Not a single rape test was conducted on that day.
CBS News.
Yep.
UN finds clear and convincing information that hostages have been raped in Gaza.
Please show me the report where that says though. No, that's a news report. I'm talking about the UN report. You can go on the United Nations and you can find the report.
A senior UN official has found reasonable grounds to believe.
So he's put that in their report, then why is it not in the United Nations report? That's why I'm asking.
Again, like when it comes to the United Nations, look, I do quite a bit of research, but when it comes to reading every single United Nations report,
it's important to understand the report on the sexual violence that was committed on October 7th. It's one of the biggest things that started the war at such a mass scale. And one of the things we have to understand is when you lie about atrocities like this, 40 beheaded babies, only 2 babies were killed. We can look at the death list posted on all Israeli sites.
Even Israeli media acknowledges that 40 Israeli babies were not
killed.
Okay,
beheaded. So that's good.
They're taking it back. Even we now, you have to understand. It was never actually reported on any Israeli news site.
No, our spokesperson just repeated it again and again and again.
It was just a rumor.
Point.
It was a rumor that just got out of hand. But even Israeli media acknowledges, and pro-Israel activism acknowledges that 40 babies were not beheaded. It was just 2 Israeli babies were killed.
And spokesperson still use that claim though, to this day. Spokespeople still use the claim 40 beheaded babies.
Well, if they do, they're wrong, and it's the more informed ones, such as myself, we do.
I appreciate, because I understand that you're very liberal and you see both sides. You have I would say humanity. You want peace for humans in the end.
And I try to be as objective as I possibly can.
So I think when you say stuff like that, it exaggerates the need for the retaliation, because 40 beheaded babies sounds horrific.
Yes, of course.
Because beheaded sounds like they were chopped off with knives. Both of the babies that were killed in crossfire. One dying of crossfire, one dying of compilations after. When you say lies like that, the actual atrocities that happened, the 2 actual babies that were killed, it takes away from them. Why do you have to lie? I don't understand.
Well,
that.
The thing is, we didn't lie. Sorry, we didn't lie. There was a. I'm still trying to. I watched videos on it. I think there's a reporter said, I think I saw babies who were beheaded or something.
Blinken actually said so in his state Congress. He saw video evidence of it.
Yeah, but didn't they take it back or something?
No, they haven't. They haven't. This is why there's a lot of conflicting information. We need real journalists that are not biased to get in there and give us information.
Yeah,
which Israel will not do.
The thing is, we didn't lie. The 40 beheaded babies things, that was just a rumor that got out of control. But no Israeli journalists and no Israeli on Israeli
Times
media.
Of Israel reported it.
That's verified?
Times of Israel, yeah. I think they might have taken it back now because they have changed it, but they did initially report on it.
Okay, well, look. Basically, all informed pro-Israel activists are saying that 40 babies were not beheaded. That's just that was not verified. It was not true.
Yep.
And then the thing is, we have people accusing us. Oh, you guys are lying, and we can't even trust you. Yeah. Look, when it comes to warfare, the first casualty of war is the truth. And, Israel gets scrutinized. It's as if Israel gets held under a magnifying glass. Like, we just can't do anything right. And the second, we have a misreport. Oh, we're lies. The second, a Palestinian civilian has been killed. The inhumanity. And it's like...
As much as I agree with certain points you've made there, that's just not true. The whole collective medias In Australia, for example, they take Israel's side. They have from the start of this attack. They always have. Initially,
all media
would
actually
fail.
recognizes Israel's right to exist, so they all kind of sort of like acknowledge Zionism to a certain perspective.
Yeah,
and
that's fine, but they don't have to justify it or give biased reports. That's the whole point of journalism, is to be independent or unbiased.
What
Not
would he
independent.
have to say to convince you that what's happening from Israel's end to Palestine is genocide? Because so far his rebuttals for all the points are making a coherent sense. What would he have to say to you for you to be like, yeah, you know what? As a Jewish man, I look back at my nation and they are committing genocide.
Okay, if the target in the 1948 war, 12 to 24 Palestinian women were raped by the hands of the Jewish forces. 800 to 900 Palestinians were massacred by the hands of the Jewish forces, and 50 to 60,000 Palestinians were forcibly expelled from their homes from Liddell and Ramla. This is according to Benny Morris, Israel's leading historian who supports Israel by agenda. Right? Now, I will acknowledge there are bad things that have happened, and including 12 to 24 Palestinian women actually were raped by the hands of the Jewish forces in the 1948 war.
Yep.
Did you know these statistics?
Yes, I did.
You know these statistics. So this is verified for me. The thing is, if the target was not Hamas, if the target is Hamas and to destroy Hamas and also Hezbollah now in Lebanon, if the target it is not genocide, if there is clear evidence that Israel is target killing innocent civilians on purpose as a policy, and also you could also has a plan to actually relocate all the Gazans out of Gaza and relocate them to someone else. If you could prove to me that Israel was actually had this plan to relocate all the Palestinians, okay, I would acknowledge Israel's ethnically cleansing the Palestinians. If they were target killing innocent civilians
prove
on
that?
purpose, if they were target
just wanna
killing,
let him finish for
if
a
they were target killing innocent civilians on purpose, I'll be like, yeah, okay, that's a genocide. Like Benny Morris said, 800 to 900 Palestinians were massacred by the hands of the Jewish forces in the 1948 war.
Yep.
If you can find evidence where Palestinian civilians were deliberately targeted, then yes, I would acknowledge it. I mean, there was also in 1956, there was the Kufur Kazim massacre, where 48 Palestinians were massacred by the hands of the Jewish border police because there was a curfew at 6 o'clock and then it was pushed back to 5 o'clock. Then an order was given for the Israeli soldiers to shoot everyone who was still out in the fields at between 5 and 6.
Yep.
And 48 Palestinians were killed, but a pregnant Palestinian woman was killed. So usually the Palestinian number, they cite 49. The Israeli number cites 48, interestingly enough, because a pregnant woman counts as 2 people. So it just goes to show how numbers get
Delusionized between conflicts.
again, it just goes to show how there's just so much nuance to it, and the amount of research you have to do in order to understand. Oh yeah, so the Palestinian side says it's 49. Why is it 49? Why is it 48 on the Israeli side? So this is actually what happened in 1956, and this massacre gave rise to Israel's policy of there's this thing called a black flag policy in the Israeli army, where if they're given an illegal order, if Israeli soldiers are given an illegal order, they're allowed to disobey orders if the order is an illegal order. So again, this is why I feel as though, Israel just gets quite badly scrutinized.
Yep.
There's that quote by Colonel Richard Kemp, no other army in the history of warfare has done more to protect innocent civilian lives than the state of Israel has. This is back in 2009. There's a famous YouTube video of him. What do you have to say in response to that?
Well, Richard Kemp, first of all, in Normal Thinking's books, has been documented and referenced multiple times for lying, just straight up.
Okay.
He's a English spokesperson for the IDF that they bring out whenever they want to minimize their civil casualties.
Yeah.
That's every time he's been referenced and he comes out. When we look at genocidal acts, we have to understand there's a large scale. So I'm going to talk about some things that actually happened before October 7th.
Okay.
So like Operation Protective Edge in 2014, where 2,200 Palestinians were killed. 65% at least or more were civilians. This is disproportionate. According to the Article 2A of the UN Genocide Convention, outlines a killing of civilians constitute genocide when committed with intent to destroy a group. So even if they are killed, that's considered it. The assassination of Palestinian leaders, I think that's very important to talk about. Because when there's target assassinations on Palestinian political and military leaders, they're justified for security defense. I agree with that. For security reasons, they can justify them. But the nature of these killings, they're systematic. They happen again and again and again. It shows that killings over the decades reflect a pattern aimed at decapitating the leadership of the Palestinian people. So they don't want someone to negotiate with because they kill them. And they've done it in history and they do it again to Hamas, to the PA, to everyone that has been stood up against them. And the systematic killing of it makes the people oppressed because you take away their leaders. Unjustified. You use security defense as a reason, but it doesn't do it. Next, psychological trauma of the children in Gaza. Save the Children in 2020, years before October 7th, reported that more than 80% of the children in Gaza, 50% of the population in Gaza is children. From that, 80% of them suffer from trauma due to repeated bombings, family separations, and deprivation caused by the blockade. This constitutes psychological harm under Article 2B of the Genocide Convention. Excessive use of force against protesters, the Great March of Return, 2018 to 19. 200 Palestinians were killed peacefully protesting, including disabled people who were shot in their wheelchairs. This is fact.
On one day of that march, 60 Palestinians were killed and 50 of them were Hamas members, and even Hamas actually acknowledged that 50 of the 60 people who were killed were Hamas members.
But they were still peacefully protesting. That doesn't take away their peaceful protest. They weren't fighting, they weren't in war, they were peacefully protesting.
Again, look, the thing
That's
is...
the thing.
Well, I wasn't there. Look, again, I wasn't there to see with my own eyes what's happening. And
there's video footage of it. There's video footage of Israeli snipers sniping a man on his crutches. What security threat is a man in his crutches? He's 65 or 70 years old.